Yep. Hello. Welcome. Hi. This is Andrew Barron. That's Ben Raza. This is From A to B, presented by Awesemo.com. This is a sports show where we talk about sports. It's a little dead right now. We're going to do a little NFL first look, but there's other things that we can get into, Got to get our reps in before tomorrow night. But I don't know. We talked about video games for a little while yesterday. That led me down a rabbit hole. What did you end up playing some last night?
I played SimCity, the classic, the original SimCity at one point when I was just noodling around. Yeah, last night, there was no sports without a couple days off from NFL. Don't have to worry about golf. I should be doing a little more with these Webbies because next week we have the Safeway Open and there's going to be guys that I don't know much about. So I'm going to take some time in between NFL and do that. I'm not we'll still be talking a little college football on the show later in the week. I'm not playing this week because I'm going to be traveling, going to Foxwoods on the weekend, get my gamble on. So
nice, dude. That should be fun.
Yeah. Probably expect.
Yeah, Webbies, got to get into those. We got NBA research to get into too, but kind of took an off day yesterday. Didn't want to. I mean, I'm not playing a ton of baseball this time of year. I don't play a ton anyway, but certainly not now. I'd played some video games too. Might have gone a little too hard on it. We ended up talking. We were talking to Josh a lot about the sort of strategy games that we tend to like because, I mean, I have no stick skills. Sounds like you don't either. I was always horrible at shooters, so I really liked, StarCraft back in the day. And Age of Empires. Actually, Josh told us we should buy Civilization. And then talked about how he'd put 1,000 hours into Civilization 5. And I was like, okay, I can't do that. Then Age of Empires came up. I bought Age of Empires 3 yesterday. Might have played it until 3:30 in the morning West Coast time. Whoops.
It happens. What can you say? I know these are things every so often I get the internet poker itch. So I have to supplement that somehow because that's still not back. And I don't feel like depositing Bitcoin into a shady site. So yeah, I still always have that urge once in a while to play some poker.
Yeah, poker's pretty fun.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like I do miss the full tilt days, but we do have a couple of days here that are not the heaviest, and then tomorrow, right back into it. I mean, the Thursday to Monday, there's slates. There's big things to break down in the football world for a long time. So I probably should enjoy these 2 days each week.
Yeah, no, it's certainly true, and it's fun to get a little video. I basically didn't play video games for about 4 years. Liked them when I was a kid. Decided I was an adult and needed to be more productive, and trying to have a renaissance with it these days. Yeah, so speaking of that Thursday game, it's a very good one. We will be breaking it down some with Laffy tomorrow night on Three Fellas. That is in place of our Thursday show. That is always the case. For now, we have that Thursday night. This week, it's going to be a little bit later. Normally, we've done it in the hour sort of up to the Thursday night game starting. This week, our boss, Osmo, and Spags, and Evan Silva are going to be they need that time slot. So we will be going on basically at kickoff. So watch some football, have us going at the same time. Obviously, you can rewatch it whenever you want. But Three Fellas tomorrow night will be approximately 8:15 Eastern time. And you have On the Contrary beforehand, which is a fun watch. So should be worth checking out. But yeah, I don't know. Tomorrow night's game's good. I think we'll spend. Maybe we won't tomorrow night, actually, honestly. So we could talk about that game a little more because I don't think we'll talk about it as it's we're not going to break it down in the first quarter.
That's true. It's an interesting one. It definitely got more appealing to me now that Talib is hurt, Peters is hurt. That's just a situation where I'm interested to see how people react. Obviously, it would be different on a full slate. Cousins can't go overlooked in a one game. But at the same time, what do we do with that information with the Rams? Do we see them strong on defense now, or are they going to be able to adapt?
I think it'll be a little of both. I don't think they'll struggle on defense necessarily because ultimately the big thing is going to be the lines, and Minnesota's offensive line is nothing special, and the Rams, at least the interior of it, is ungodly. So I think they'll be able to get pressure on it. They'll make Kirk Cousins do some dumb Kirk Cousins-y things. He's a pretty inaccurate thrower. So I think he'll screw up enough. But not having Talib and Peters, like even that, the difference between like an amazing corner and a not amazing corner is not a huge, huge thing. But it's a play or two a game. And like if that means another big, if that's a big play for someone like Steph Diggs or Adam Thielen, who are certainly capable of making those, I think it's going to be fun. I actually played a fair amount. I'm excited. I have a fair amount of Monday, Thursday, where I have it mostly stacked on this game with that anticipation, and got some Vance McDonald and some Steelers defense starting me off. A little bit of James Conner too, but whatever. Should be cool. I think it'll be a pretty high scoring affair considering how good the defenses are. Everson Griffin is out as well. He didn't play last week, and then freaking Josh Allen lit up the Vikings. Not that he should be. I mean, he's really good, but they have a lot of really good dudes. So you would think that. But then, I mean, the Rams' offense is unbelievable too. So
game's in LA, right?
That's a good question.
I believe it is, but I could be wrong.
I believe you. It would be a good time to do it. It's beautiful at night here this time of year.
Either way, I'm with you. I think that, looking to the outside receivers, Diggs, Thielen, it's always hard to pick between, Thielen overshadowed, and I know the game script was ridiculous. He had like 20 targets last week. The running back situation, I'm not sure I'm looking to that much. And then on the other side, it's still a very good offense. They're going to have a challenge. The Vikings defense is very good despite what we saw last week. I don't know exactly where they attack. Do you have a feel on that in terms of, I know you were on Cooks last week a little more over like the Cups and Woods of the world.
I think it could be a Cooks week again. For me, it's more like it was just in a tournament sense. Cooks is probably going to be lower owned because I think it's easier to get to Woods. Like Woods projects really well. If I'm playing a cash game or something, I would certainly rather have Woods. But for a tournament, Cooks makes a lot of big plays. The Vikings' other cornerback, the not Xavier Rhodes guy, is Trey Waynes, who is he's another one of those sort of tier 3 speed guys like the Julio, Brandon Cooks, Trey Wayne's like the 4.3, the like mid 4.3s guys. Super, super, super fast. Just not John Ross, who's his own tier, and then you've got Tyreek Hill and Marquise Goodwin as tier 2 probably. They're very, very fast guy, but also can get beat a little bit. So I think there's big play potential for Cooks, and they're using him more. So I do sort of like that.
I'm interested to see what they do with Rhodes. Like, do they just have him try to shadow or kick aside? I don't know who they take away. I mean, you could use him on Cooks. You could use him on Woods. I wouldn't be stunned to see that.
I would imagine he would get Woods.
Yeah.
Because what Rhodes does and what makes him he's like a press guy. So like he's jamming the guy at the line, and that can be tricky with the with the fast guys. Because if you screw that up, like Xavier Rhodes' job is super, super hard. Like there are not many people. The reason people don't bump at the line very often is because it's not easy to do that. I think if you do that and you screw it up a little bit, Cooks will just burn you. So I would imagine he's more on Woods. It is more of a ploy against sort of physical receivers. So
yeah, and that could be. I mean, in a setting like this, Woods is going to be really popular still. And if we do get word of that, Xavier Rhodes is one. I don't really look at that stuff too often. He's one where I do take notice. Like, he's no joke. And with so many weapons that the Rams have, might be a good spot to, roll a little extra to Cooper. Obviously, Gurley's always in play.
Yeah. Cooper's a little scary. I mean, Harrison Smith is also just an absolute monster, which is they're badass everywhere. Yeah. But no, what I think you're right. Rhodes, one of the reasons Rhodes is so scary is because if he does his job right, the guy's basically out of the play before it starts. Like the quarterback doesn't have a chance to give him time to read because he's just pushed the guy off of his route before everything gets it. But Rhodes can get sort of famously burnt. He got lit up by, was that on Thanksgiving? The Marvin Jones 30-point game against Xavier Rhodes shadow coverage. I think it was.
It was. It's because the Lions always play first, and each Thanksgiving,
we were all dead.
It's always dead. Yeah, that was when I want to say Keenum had he had a big game. I don't know if he ran a couple in or something. It was not good.
No.
God, I hate the Lions. I never get them right, but it's I kind of wish this game was on the main slate. It would be a lot more interesting. I mean, it's a showdown slate, so different mindset and how you have to attack it.
I will say I might play a little bit of it in Thursday, Monday tonight because I've noticed a lot lately that people, the old strategy. This is just funny. DFS is such a sort of cyclical thing. It's like playing paper, scissors, rock. So it's like if one person's, if the one thing is the dominant mindset, you kind of go to the other way. Which is
paper, scissors, rock.
Yeah.
I say rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, people do that. I don't know why. And it's not. I wouldn't say paper, scissors. It's paper, scissor, rock. I don't know why.
Oh wow.
New England, maybe.
Oof. Anyway.
Continue. Yeah. Often the sort of idea was, hey, join the Thursday night game and just play Thursday to Monday's contest and just don't play anyone from Thursday because they'll all be overowned. We both played the Wildcat week 2.
Yep.
And liked Dalton okay in general. Didn't play him sort of because of that. He was 0% owned in the Wildcat on Thursday to Monday. And that was when he lit up Baltimore for a ton of touchdowns.
It seems like, and again, this is a short-sighted sample size and whatnot, that there's a couple people who will just full-on stack the game. And then pretty much everyone else plays 0 people. So if you take a reasonable approach, you're in a minority. And that's you just talked about it. DFS evolves and you have to be ahead of these things. I was one of many people. I used to register for every Thursday and play 0 players. And it was somewhat profitable. You had a large amount of people who would just play 8 guys from the game for no reason. Now we're seeing that these Thursday games, there's certainly viable plays, and people, are still not picking up on it in some spots. So you can jump on that and just play it a little differently as long as you're seeing the landscape correctly.
Yeah, I think that's a fascinating conversation, especially in some of the bigger, higher dollar contests where it's more groupthink. I wonder what people are going to do tonight because it's sharps are going to know that Peters and Talib are hurt and that maybe this is a good spot for Minnesota. But I wonder, I don't know. I wonder what's going to happen here.
Thank you, chat, for coming to the rock, paper, scissors defense. You're going to have to find some New Englanders to back up your claims over there.
I've heard it called, you've heard it called Rochambeau, right?
Yeah, but not really.
Just pushing back against our buddy Chad, who says he's literally never heard it called anything besides rock, paper, scissors. I'm not with you there, buddy.
Oh man, but I'm good at rock, paper, scissors. That's certainly something I've gambled on in my life a lot. But
they have have you seen the obviously the nationwide championships? That stuff's pretty wild.
Yeah, not an Annie Duke fan for a lot of reasons, but she is very good at rock, paper, scissors.
All right. Okay. Next week's poll. No, I don't think so. I am well aware that it is a regional thing to call it paper, scissors, rock. I don't know, just paper, scissors, rock, shoot. That was what we did when I was a kid. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it was just the teacher of mine in first grade that taught me how to play. It's the same. It's the same thing. What's the problem?
No. That's suspect. I hate to break it to you, but
what is the issue then? How is it any different to call it one or the other? It's the same three items. The order of the items doesn't matter.
So you want to call it scissors, rock, paper, shoot?
If someone did that, I wouldn't call them a freak.
No, that's out there. You don't want to be doing that. It needs to flow. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. It's all in the same.
Yeah. Okay. Sheep. Enjoy go be a chalk donkey somewhere.
Buy into that chalk and rock, paper, scissors.
Just doing our job. Okay. Rochambeau is kicking each other in the balls until one falls. Is that? I mean, I'm aware that South Park popular. No, it's like I'm going to kick you squaw in the nuts. I can't imagine you watched much South Park, did you?
Not in this lifetime,
no. Very popular show for a long time. It's really funny. It has its moments. It's super obscene, and
I've seen it. It's just I don't. Yeah, no.
I almost feel like maybe not. But are you a little young for it? Because it was mega huge by the time you were. I mean, when did it start? You were like 7?
Yeah, it was early. Like I remember. It's funny. I never watched it, but my parents are like somewhat lawless. Like I didn't have restrictions on anything like with TV or stuff. So like my friends would always like come over to watch it, and I would just be furious because I'm like, what? I don't want to watch this garbage.
I guess more what I'm saying is that it probably been copied a million times by the time you were however old. It's just hard with a lot of cultural stuff like that. I don't know. I really liked Pearl Jam when I was a kid. I can't really listen to them now because just there's the Creeds and the Nickelbacks of the world. It's like totally stole all of that from them. Do you like Family Guy?
No.
Okay, good. I have a lot. I mean, not a lot of people who I respect love that show. I can't stand that show, and it's because it's so derivative of other shows I liked before. I'm an old.
It's fine. It's not like I'm like this is horrible. It's just not for like again. Seth MacFarlane, clever guy. Like I get it. It's just a little, not even over the top, but just not something I watch.
I think it's a little over the top. There's no like spine. It's just joke.
Yeah, that's kind of what I see as well.
Yeah, it's a little too irreverent. Like it's a little, I don't know. And it brought whatever. That's been a big thing. But I like the Simpsons, or even South Park. Like does have some soul to it.
Never seen the Simpsons in my life.
It was amazing for 7 seasons, 8 seasons, or whatever.
Cartoons or anime, but you know how it is.
I don't really anymore. Chad says Rick and Morty. That another one. Good. I've seen a couple episodes. I thought it was really funny. I haven't been able to get into as into cartoons lately. BoJack Horseman's supposed to be amazing too. Haven't gotten into that much, but anyway.
There's a lot of shows. I just finished Succession off your recommendation. It was phenomenal. That's more my speed.
Yeah, man. That show is so good.
Thielen and Diggs, woof. I'd rather talk shows. That's a tough one. I think for me, general, Thielen's always a little safer and Diggs is always a little higher ceiling just because of the way they play. I usually roll to Diggs. Kind of just a gut feel. With Showdown, I don't think it matters. In a full slate, it's more if you're looking for upside, Diggs, safety, Thielen.
Except Thielen has crazy upside too,
But a lot of it, and I know this doesn't make it wrong, but I feel like that's due to volume.
Yeah.
Not as much. Where like Diggs can get there with like 6 catches. Thielen, he does have big games, but we also have to see, like, it's very young. Cousins isn't Keenum. Maybe he starts to roll to one of them more as the season gets going.
Yeah. I would play, personally, I think they project fairly similarly most weeks. I think you're right. The range of outcomes for Diggs is certainly higher, so more of the tournament play. And Diggs is usually lower owned, it seems like, when they're the same price anyway. I would play ownership there. Diggs also responsible for the greatest play ever. That video you found on Twitter with the Titanic theme music with the Diggs catch and the
great follow. The Titanic, yeah. That
is amazing. You should drop that link in the. Can you? No. We should drop that link in the chat. It's so good. And the Joe Buck obviously got a lot of crap for his early days. He was a little obnoxious. I think part of that was just how bad Tim McCarver was too. But man, that was an amazing call. Just Diggs, touchdown, unbelievable.
That was one of my. I mean, I certainly had a string of running good there. I was on the bubble in the Thunderdome with Diggs, and that helped, obviously. Yeah, Kyle Rudolph's the other guy. I had him a little last week. He found the end zone even in that disgraceful showing. He's relying on touchdowns, but he's a viable red zone target. That's really all.
I have a hard time with him, and I like the wide receivers. And I feel like if you're playing Kyle Rudolph, like what's his – when he has his ceiling game, he's vulturing the other guys. So I don't often get there. But you can see it happen. I wouldn't triple stack them, I guess. I wouldn't onslaught them with Kirk Cousins and all three of those receiving options because you're going to need Cousins to throw for 6 touchdowns, and there's only one greatest quarterback of all time, Pat Mahomes.
Josh Allen. Josh Allen just whooped this team. Now I'm like a closet Vikings fan because like I just want them to win the Super Bowl so I can just be like, oh, Josh Allen whooped the Super Bowl champs. I mean, this is also, I know we keep saying this. This is a showdown. It's different. It's not, I wish it wasn't because I would love to attack it. And you're right. Good call. I'm playing Thursday, Monday. Haven't played as much of it this year. I'm definitely going to attack it this week.
Yeah, should be a good one. Excellent. And then did we get to the – yeah, we did. We pretty much got the other side of the ball, so we're good there. Cup, I think, is a little bit sneaky. He's been a big red zone threat. Certainly not sneaky, but I like Cooks Cooks is my favorite tournament play. I just think they're going to use him. They have been using him more, and then he's just got crazy upside. He's super fast, and he can catch super long touchdowns.
And we've seen, and not that regression doesn't just work immediately, but like Cooks is a yard or 2 away from finding the end zone a couple times, and it's a totally different narrative for all these guys.
Yep, tackled at the half-yard line. They called it a touchdown initially.
Yeah. Yep.
And then he was tackled again. He got pushed out at like a 4. Like it wasn't that close to a score, but it was still pretty close. Yeah, and he occasionally just has those games. So I'm going to be buying Cooks a little bit. I wasn't to start the season, to be honest, because I thought he would I thought he was going to play the Sammy Watkins role, and that's not been the case. They've been using him. They've been trying to get him involved. Speaking of more involved, get to some of the main slate games.
Sure.
You know the highest like projected value at wide receiver is for my first run?
Highest project. Let's see. I'm going to try to actually figure this out. Tyler Boyd.
No.
Is he cheap or is he expensive?
No, he's expensive. He's mid-high. He's not like – it's not Antonio Brown, but it is –
James Washington. No, Juju.
Yeah, James Washington. Skynet tried to kill us the other night with James Washington. Yeah, it's Juju, man. And it's just his market share has been going up, obviously. He's been getting a ton of the targets. And then this is not something that shows up in my projections, but an additional sort of bonus. Juju runs a ton out of the slot. Like that's sort of his primary place. And remember when A.J. Green just absolutely roasted Baltimore 2 weeks ago on Thursday night? All 3 of those touchdowns on routes he ran out of the slot. So
just keep in mind, obviously, real quick, that game's not on the main slate. So Thursday, Monday, absolutely. I think it's a good call with Juju, but not on the Sunday only.
Son of a bitch. When is that the Sunday night game?
I believe so. Mahomes is off the slate. There's a lot of big names off the slate. Mahomes is not there. The Steelers are not in there.
Damn it. I knew KC Denver was Monday night, but I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So, and then there's buys. Cam Newton is on a buy. The Redskins are on a buy. So it's 12 games. Not that one. It's an interesting thing in general because a lot of the some of the best teams in the league and some of the best to target for DFS are just not available.
Man, Thursday, Monday is so much better of a slate. You got those are like the 3 best. You got, and even in real football, Rams, Vikings, Pittsburgh, Baltimore is always a fun game, if nothing else. And I think that's going to be higher scoring than it has been in the past. And then KC Denver should be the shootout of the week, which is
it's 3 of the 6 or 8 best, like it's certainly all in the upper echelon.
Yep.
It's so, but yeah, the main slate is devoid of some major. I mean, I like that, as you know. Like, I prefer weeks where there are just garbage options. Kind of have that this week.
Yeah, you do. Alvin Kamara is on the main slate. He has the highest projection I can ever remember in my model.
I might take my Kamara winnings from last weekend, bank them. That's where I'm leaning right now.
Yeah.
It's not even just because of him. Melvin Gordon, Zeke, David Johnson, Gio. Like, there's a lot of guys $1,000 to like $3,000 cheaper that I want a lot of them. So,
yeah. Zeke, Gio, and David Johnson they're like I think they're the 2, 3, 4 values after Kamara. And Kamara, it's just part of it too is he got 20 damn targets last week. So when you look at sort of his macro level, I have him for like 23% or something like that of Drew Brees' passes. But Drew Brees has thrown, I looked at this earlier. What was it? He's got 129 pass attempts. 37 of them are to Kamara. That's 28.7%. That's like really close to Antonio Brown. That's like number 1 wide receiver on most teams.
And in a full point PPR, it's better in the sense that like a lot of Antonio Brown's targets are 40-yard at a bat. Like, Kamara catches an absurd percentage of them. So if he's getting 15 targets a week, he's going to have over 10 receptions literally every week.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I'm like on my first sort of lean, I'm kind of with you. Like, the projection goes up because he's just been getting stupid volume this year in addition to his probably unsustainable efficiency from last year. So like those are, the volume spiking this year, which is kind of when you average that with a lot of last year, that's going up, but then the efficiency from last year still counts some. So even though that's gone down a little bit, right now he's just projecting for insane volume and insane efficiency. And I'm not sure that really continues. And then, yeah, there's a bunch of other dudes. Saquon Barkley, too, I think is actually in a 6th spot. And he's turning in – they're kind of using him in that Kamara sort of way.
It's out of somewhat necessity, which doesn't diminish it. It's just, can they hold that game? I mean, every week there's going to be a game that's going to be popular to stack. I seemingly obviously would be the Saints, Giants. I gut feel that, Kamara, we see his volume, not just because of overtime, similar to like the Connor thing I was saying from week 1 to week 2, but we just see it return to a more normal level for him. I don't think he's going to be touching the ball. If he's touching the ball 30 times, he'll be 11,000 soon. Like, that's not going to happen, though. I can't see any way the Saints do that.
Yeah, that seems like that would be a little overboard.
That's just stupid. Like, they will get him hurt. That's not what they want to do. It's just certain weeks. We saw that, and one thing we both got really right was that was the way to attack the Falcons. And that's why they did it, because it was the weak link. And now, I mean, the Falcons, in addition to, they lost another safety for the year.
Yeah. Started to hear the rumors of him being an Earl Thomas destination, or them being an Earl Thomas destination spot.
I did not.
That would be cool. They run it's the same team. Dan Quinn is the head coach in Atlanta. He was the defensive coordinator when the Seahawks sort of first rose to prominence. So that cover 3 zone, he would fit right in there and be awesome.
They could use him because, and I mean, they're not catching any breaks either, in the sense of the Deion Jones thing. We keep talking about how bad that is for these backs that can catch, like McCaffrey, Kamara, Gio. Not exactly the ideal situation if that's where you're lacking.
Yeah, that's brutal. Yep, Gio this week. He played almost the thing with Gio, I think that's always sort of hard to reconcile is like, because other dudes have been out before, right? And like, he's just not an every down guy. It's just not really what he does. But he was last week.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Jeremy Hill's not there anymore, and he was. I don't know if that was out of necessity or that's what they want to do with him as long as Mixon's out. In the NFL, it's partly how good are you, and then partly is how many, like if you're on the field for 80+% of the snaps, if you're not terrible, you're going to be somewhat viable. Like that's just the way it is. It has an element of the NBA. It's not pure like minutes you just fall into production, but there is an element of that.
It's true. Especially at running back. That is volume is more important at running back and at quarterback than anywhere else, which volume of quarterback is why Ryan Tannehill is showing up in the first round of the projections, just so everyone knows.
He's I mean, it's not like it counts any different, but Ryan Tannehill is throwing these little pop passes that Jakeem Grant is running 80 yards for a touchdown. So if he can keep that up, sure.
That would be optimal. Dude, Danny Amendola revenge game, dude.
Yeah, what are you going to do about Sony Michel, speaking of that game?
Yeah, the Burkhead news just came out.
I know, I was doing Pat's show during it, and it was like, well, I just talked about how I didn't like Sony Michel. Now I'm a little confused.
It's hard. It's going to be like, do you think Kenjon Barner gets into the game? Like, because it's Michel and James White, who James White's just not really a runner, That's not really what he does. He's a very good receiver, but he doesn't really run the ball particularly well. So it's his chance, if nothing else,
Yeah, I don't think this is like a jam it in kind of spot. I wouldn't fault anyone for looking there if you think that Michel gets the work, but there's still a lot. I mean, it is only Wednesday. We need to see. I know, a guy in chat just now good point that, with the Bengals in particular, like, I don't know what's up with Mixon. AJ Green is banged up. Is he playing? I know that's a spot I want to attack, but exactly where I will be attacking remains to be seen.
That is true.
So, I mean, the Patriots this just has all the makings of just a demolition to me.
The Pats destroying them?
Yeah, like at home. I mean, if they don't win this one, I will certainly jump on the bandwagon that there's a real problem.
Yeah, as a longtime Pats fan, the Dolphins do always troll us, but
not when it matters, though.
No, but it hasn't mattered. There hasn't been a meaningful Patriots-Dolphins game in, I don't know, 15 years.
Yeah, I guess there's just been games, though, where the Patriots like want to get it. This just has the makings of that Cincinnati game. I don't remember the exact like situation, but there was a game in one of those years. It was early. I think it was on a Monday night, and the Patriots murdered the Bengals as like a 2-point spread. It was like ridiculous.
Was that like 4 years ago, like the week after Kansas City blew New England out? Yeah. And that was when everyone was writing the postmortems, and it's like, oh, it finally came to an end, and then won the Super Bowl that year.
Just demolition. So we'll see. I don't know. It's a combination of. I also think that the Dolphins are not good. Like they've just.
And can Josh Gordon take Xavier Howard and a safety out of the play? Are they going to do that this week? That would be huge. That would certainly be huge. I think
Chris Hogan's, just talking about that game, Chris Hogan, who's been awful, even with, Josh Gordon, that would help him. But that's a guy I think we could see bounce back as everyone's got these guys dead and buried. I don't think that's the case.
Like Hogan becomes one of my favorite tournament plays if Gordon plays, because I think that will, like in projection models, that's going to push Hogan down even more potentially.
Yeah. And I think it's a boost personally.
It is. I'm 100% with you. Hogan has really struggled as a number one receiver. When he's getting number one receiver attention, like he just can't get loose. And I think sort of being the third option out there for the defense to stop is going to be huge for him. Because there's only two safeties, and if one of them is going to be like locked onto Gronk, helping out a linebacker, and then if Josh Gordon can pull another one a little further away from Hogan, like it's a nice spot.
Absolutely, and Gronk is priority number one. Like he's going to take the bracket coverage. It just has one of the I'm not predicting multiple, but like if I saw that Hogan really exploded and caught a pair, I wouldn't be stunned. I really wouldn't.
No. And I mean, the Dolphins have horrendous coverage linebackers too, for what it's worth. Like Kiko Alonso is still out there and just can't do anything. Not that any linebacker can cover Gronk.
That's true.
And no safety really can either. You know, you've got
Put together if they can slow him down.
Yeah, it's like Eric Berry's the one guy in the world who can stop Gronk somehow. But you know, like what the Lions did last week, just had like 3 dudes at him all the time. Like that will work too. Usually it doesn't work against the Patriots because like if you do that, then there's plenty of other guys open. But Brady just doesn't have any weapons that he knows, and that's been a big part of the problem so far this year. I think they will get better shortly.
Find out. I mean, Edelman's coming back, so yeah, that'll help. I would love to see them dead and buried, of course. I just don't see it though.
Don't be an asshole. Tevin Coleman, another running back I'm kind of into. Got a price drop a little bit. He's still, he's out there 70. He's getting 70% of the workload or so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Assuming Devontae Freeman is still out, which I don't know if that's confirmed yet, but I'm relatively certain he's not playing.
Don't think it's confirmed, but I'm with you. I don't think he plays. The thing that's interesting about Coleman is that I think he was like the popular, it's a couple weeks have passed now. He's old news. Like he's not on the mind. There's other guys, Gio in particular, that are going to garner the ownership. And you can look there.
Calvin Ridley on his own team, like that's going to take ownership away from him.
Yeah. But you know who else it's going to take ownership possibly away from? And I don't even want to say his name. Good. But he's not going to be doing – I mean, we saw in week 1 him get 0. So that's the range. It's most likely going to be falling well in between that every week. I don't think we see these type of performances. And I don't know. I think that Julio is even more forgotten. At the same time, it's a real question to just say, is he not in that tier anymore? Should he not be priced at 8,200?
It's possible.
Very possible. Kind of like David Johnson. That's the same question you're asking there. He looks like a great bargain to me. Not if he's just not viable as a useful back anymore.
Yeah. Can't wait to have 25 Julio David Johnson lineups again.
Just like every other week that I play. I should just keep the same lineup.
It's got to hit eventually.
That's what they keep telling me.
What do you make of this Indianapolis defense? Because the Houston guys are rating out pretty well, again, as sort of reasonable values. Will Fuller's getting real volume now. That's I think I'm not a huge long-term fan of Will Fuller, but man, he's getting real volume. And then Deshaun Watson.
It's the kind of game, and you talk about this all the time, you could go everywhere, including the Colts defense to me. I wouldn't be stunned if Deshaun Watson has a Ryan Fitzpatrick-esque inefficient monster game. So I like both sides of it. You could run it back with T.Y. if you want, run it back with Ebron. I'll probably do that here and there. At the same time, the Texans are garbage in real life. But for fantasy purposes, they definitely have some options.
Yeah, I think that's a fun game to run back. I don't think T.Y.'s had particularly great matchups. I mean, maybe you get worried about Andrew Luck's arm strength in regards to that, but he's also a guy who can break a slant. He's another guy. He's in that Cooks, Julio, Trey Waynes level of speed. T.Y. is certainly a burner, and yeah, the Texans defense is it's just, it's a bummer. I think it's just, outside of J.J. Watt and Clowney's strangely just been a run stopper in his career, despite him having that he sort of Vernon Davis his way into the number 1 pick where he just had the ungodly combine. You've seen, I'm a big combine nerd, but have you seen the Vernon Davis stuff?
I know his metrics are legendarily ridiculous.
It was crazy.
Him in college was absurd.
Say what?
Him in college was a thing. He was
good.
Yeah, he was good.
I just remember he kind of came out of nowhere to become the 5th pick because
that was because of what you said. He
ran a 4.4 and did 29 bench reps.
Sir,
the guy's stronger than Gronk and faster than Deshaun Jackson.
Yet he's Vernon Davis.
Yep. He also, another guy, tiny hands.
That's you go.
probably a big problem for his catching over the years, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's tricky. Ty at home, which is a real thing. I mean, he's in the dome again. That helps. I don't mind it. It all stuff like that. It depends on the build. Like I haven't built, and right now I don't see a ton of value out there. I'm not gonna be able to take 2 top running backs, a couple of good receivers, and figure it out. That's just not gonna work salary cap wise.
No, unless you start getting. I mean, guys that are showing. I haven't built, but I ran a couple. I uploaded the first run of the projections into Cruncher, and you've got like Ryan Tannehill popping and optimal, and guys like Deontay Thompson and David Njoku, just because they're getting some volume. What do you? I mean, Njoku he got 2 targets last week, but he was out there for like 82% of the snaps. Do you have any feel on what Baker's going to do with him? Like, as far as is he going to be needed more to block? The guy's obviously a good talent, and he is showing up. That's more an indication of tight end being a bit of a pit, and there not being a ton of great values there. But
it's pretty ugly. I'll say this, and just a gut feel. I think Baker going in long term is good for him in terms of his dynamic abilities. The guy can play. I think we see big games, but in the short term, I'm not really high. I know a lot of people are going Baker, Jarvis. I'm sure Njoku will be in some of that stuff. I might have a sliver here and there, but I'm not on the Baker train just yet. I think that's a wait and see spot.
I can't do Jarvis at 7,400 when you've got just so many other dudes. Not right at that price point, but like he obviously got 1 million targets last week after he went in. This is going to be a fun. We should save this. Laffy obviously is a huge Jarvis Landry fan. I can't wait to debate him about this tomorrow night, but.
It's not him, it's Baker to me. Like, I am just not – I don't know. I guess I'm skeptical of what we see from him. I think the Raiders win that game.
So Oakland defense is your number 1 play of the week?
Yep. Lock it up. Lock it up.
See, the problem is Oakland is it's not even a college defense. It's like a 35 and over league defense. It's just all these old slow people.
It's bad. I mean, I'll say this on a serious note. Bears defense, of course, is going to be super popular and super viable. I may one-off them with the Raiders in certain spots.
Yeah. Think the Bears defense is going to be super popular?
I mean, hope not.
Yeah.
But yes.
Fitz has gone absolutely crazy so far.
Yeah. Fire. But it doesn't – I would hope people would see that. First of all, like the Bears defense is just good, and Fitz going nuclear is not really correlated to the Bears defense not getting their points, as you always point out.
100%. Yeah, Fitz went nuclear again last week. Steelers still scored 17 points.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then in chat, Callaway's another one for the Browns. Like, don't mind a sliver of him. People are going to pair him and Baker up, though. I don't know about all that. Well,
how strong is Baker's arm? Because Callaway's mainly a burner, right?
Yeah, he's a burner. He's an absolute burner. How strong is Baker's arm? He's not particularly has a strong arm. He's accurate, and he was in my opinion impressive in terms of his accuracy.
That was the first time I'd ever really seen him play. Oh man, he looked really good. No lie.
He did look good. I'm still, I don't know. We'll see. We will see. He was a fumble away from that whole game being different. Like that was the most important play of the game is when that guy picked up that fumble.
It's true.
But yeah, I mean, quarterback is really sandwiched. Like really sandwiched. It's no one even in the 7s. So like you can't really. I mean, of course you can save, but it's varying degrees. It's not like you can take a $3,000 difference.
Yeah, you can kind of play whoever.
Yeah.
What is I'm looking at? Phil Rivers is almost always like an amazing. Oh, because Phil Rivers is 6,500. He's like not even fairly priced because every quarterback essentially is underpriced because they all project around 18, 20 points. Some of them, Deshaun Watson, I think, is actually the highest projected quarterback. He's only 6,300.
Yeah, Rivers at 6,500. He's almost the most expensive quarterback on the slate. That's kind of weird.
And the Chargers will probably be somewhat popular. I don't know. They're expensive, so maybe not.
They're going to murder the poor Niners.
Yeah. Like to the point of, I don't know, I've often talked about how the foot off the gas thing is a little overrated, but maybe, becomes like an Austin Eckler kind of situation where that guy, I feel like trolls it's just like every time he's not owned, he's got the 2 30-yard screens for touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't think a blowout helps him at all, though. He's more of like the Jalen. He's like to me a super Jalen Richard in the sense of like if they get behind. Not that Melvin Gordon's an asset in the passing game.
Yeah, I don't really see that, to be honest with you. I think they use Melvin Gordon when they're behind in the passing game more. I've seen a lot of like Eckler, Rent, I don't know, whatever.
No, I just don't see them. I'll bet you guys, I don't see Eckler vulturing at any point. It's gonna have to be breaking one. I'm not really recommending Eckler as a play. I'm just sort of saying I think people are gonna play him though. So
well, in that case, I definitely won't. I was more thinking if he's like the 0.2% owned.
Maybe I've seen the value. I think people see I think people falsely and again maybe just I'm seeing this think like this guy's getting some work. The Chargers are going to win by 60, so like he's going to get even more work. And I don't think that that's the case per se. I'd actually be apt to say if there is a third running back on that team who I have no idea about, he might get a slight uptick at the expense of both of them.
Yeah, it's possible.
Like, who knows? Because if CJ Beathard does anything, that would be more shocking than the Bills. That would just be ridiculous.
Well, because we've seen CJ Beathard. We know he's bad. Josh Allen has a high ceiling. You can't, no matter what you think of him, like I don't think you can say that he doesn't have that at least. Because the guy's got a cannon.
Who we thought he was. But
yep. I don't have a third running back getting any work for the Chargers at the moment, but
yeah, that's entirely possible too.
They have Derek Watt and Detrez Newsome.
I don't know.
Justin Jackson.
Yeah, Justin Jackson, Northwestern man. Get it.
Sure. Create a place. Excellent. Anybody else you're into? We're going to do a lot more NFL breakdown tomorrow night as well. But
yeah, not really. Honestly, at first glance, that's where I was. I want to see what the Sony Michel news brings. Kind of see how things play out. I really try not to. And this is a topic we may explore in the future. I think it's kind of important not to build too early, especially if you have quote unquote problems with tweaking. Like, I don't think it's good to build a lineup on like Tuesday and then start messing with it. And for me, at least, it creates problems. So I really try to just gather all the information before I start putting lineups together. I don't build and adjust.
Yeah, I don't often either. I usually build everything Saturday and then try to build it all Saturday and then have Sunday to adjust. But
that's different though for me because how much has changed? Like the amount of things that will change between now and Saturday is much more than Saturday night to Sunday. Stuff comes out, of course. But
yeah, but there's not usually a ton of like crazy surprise inactives on Sunday morning. They happen, but usually when someone's out, you've had an idea that they've been limited all week. Yeah.
But like now, it's hard to build when you don't know if AJ Green is playing, if you don't know if Mixon, Devontae, like there's a million guys. No matter what you build, you're gonna end up. It almost reminds me of NBA late swap, where it's like it may not be anything that affects your team, but you're probably doing a disservice because some of these injuries are making optimal moves that you don't have. You should probably rebuild.
Yes. That's going to be so annoying.
What?
Late swap, yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it.
It's just going to be, it's going to make so much more sense. You're going to want to leave yourself as many decisions as possible. So if it's like tiebreaker, I will just say this. I think the most important thing to do, at least early in the season, is going to be tiebreaker goes to the guy with the later starting time, like every time.
That's a sharp angle. I'll probably I don't think that FanDuel is implementing late swap. I will move some of my NBA over there because I really do not, for a lot of reasons. I'm also on the East Coast, and like a lot of times I don't want to stay up for the late game. Like I'm doing other things, so I'm
I
not
like to
one.
watch basketball. You know,
Me
I
too.
hate to be a weirdo, but like,
Yeah,
I don't want to be
adjust.
constantly crunching stuff and like changing my spreadsheets around. I want to watch basketball because I do feel like there's plenty the sports that I really care about, and I find this is true. You listen to Adam talk about baseball, and like the stuff he picks up in game is kind of amazing. Like I don't know anything about a baseball player's pitch mix and don't really worry about that. Maybe that's why I have a harder time in baseball. But like I like to watch. I watch a ton of NFL games, and I feel like I can pick up on certain things from that. And basketball is the sport I know the best, and like I get it as a real sport more. So like I like to watch a couple 3 games every night.
It's
And
yeah. I mean, you're obviously talking to someone who advocates that strong. Like I still, no matter how much information we have, and it's all great. Like there are certain things that you can just pick up from seeing that are really hard to quantify. I do that in golf all the time. The trick is not to overreact to something that you're seeing and properly weigh it, because that happens too, and that's dangerous.
and it's brutal to keep up on that in golf because there's 48 hours of golf to watch every weekend.
That's true.
And I just like watching the NBA. It's a fun sport.
It's fun.
Excited to have it back. Might pick up a little, you and I have both been talking a little bit about the idea of maybe trying to pick up on some NHL this year. It's just because it's a big sport for our company. A lot of big NHL players around here. I don't know the first thing about it. But it might be fun to play. Just it is more of a GPP sport, I think. It is more of a you're not worried about late swap as much. If NBA is just going to be a shark pool with like even less variance now with late swap, that's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I like hockey. I watch a good amount. I know, like, I could learn it somewhat faster just because I have a decent idea, but I've never played the DFS side of it, so that would be possibly certainly a learning curve.
Yeah, I mean I don't anymore. I mean I grew up in Maine, so like I can skate, and, like played a lot of pond hockey and stuff as a kid, but I haven't followed it in I don't know.
Best sport to go to live.
15 years. Yeah, it's a fun sport to go live.
Amazing. Yep. Love hockey games. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. That I'm not ruling that out though. If NBA becomes just truly something where I'm just like, this is kind of like what I did with baseball, where I made a decision that I'm not going to spend a percentage of my bankroll on something that I know I can't beat. Why would I do that? That just is stupid. That may happen with the NBA. I'm certainly going to play. It's not like baseball, but we'll see where it goes with this late slop stuff.
Don't you have like a 200% ROI on baseball this year?
Oh yeah, this year I have an infinite ROI because I've played once since like May, and I had a really good. It could have just been, but very fortunate to be 1-for-1 almost in baseball.
Yep, that's pretty nice.
Still down lifetime a lot of money in baseball though.
Yeah, I mean, I got murdered this year and last year, and I'm still up a lot of the time. A lot lifetime because I won it. I won a tournament for $100,000 like 3 years ago, and it's like that goes a long way. You can blow $1,000 at a time playing baseball for a while. Okay, to lead to the IR, Davo says NBA FanDuel only. Might be with you, buddy.
Yep, me too. We'll see you there.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Josh, thank you for producing. Ben, that was fun. Tomorrow night we will be on Three Fellas Talking Football with the fella himself, Laffy. That will be starting at 8:15. We will be led in by the illustrious Evan Silva, joining Osimo and Spags to talk about tournament play in football. So should be fun. Check us out there. Everyone have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.